Henry, well, Robert Jenrick
Morning.
says that the new legislation doesn't go nearly far enough. He, among other, shall we say, right-wing Tory MPs, believe we must leave the ECHR to get anything done at all. That's what Suella Braverman is saying as well. But Rishi, he never likes to leave a globalist club, so he's staying in that club. And this is circuitous, it seems to me, this legislation. There's all sorts of kind of ways of navigating round other situations, of kind of jumping over what the Supreme Court decided and voting on Rwanda being safe. How can MPs who've never even been there vote on that? What else are they going to vote on? Chechnya is safe? Night doesn't follow day? I mean, you can't change the truth just by voting on something, can you?
No, you can't, Kevin. Of course you can't. And he does have the problem that behind all this, he might find a way of bypassing it, but the Supreme Court has already ruled on this, and that's going to sort of plague him going forward. Look, Article 46 of the Convention on Human Rights says that the signatories are bound to implement decisions made by the European Court of Human Rights. Now, there are 9,944 occasions when those judgments have not been implemented, and there is a mechanism, which I won't bore you with now, whereby those countries, if they fail to apply the judgment, can be taken back to the court. That has never happened, and the reason it's never happened is because basically it's a self-policing issue. So what you've got a choice of two as a government. One is try to ignore any judgment that goes against you, and deal with any legal implications and political and diplomatic implications of that, or you leave you avoid those judgments by leaving the ECHR, which is Suella Braverman's position and Robert Jenrick's position. And I think that is the safest one. What the Prime Minister is doing here with this bill is trying to navigate between those two things. It's a compromise, and in these sort of cases, compromise leaves you open to all sorts of risk as well. But as you, I think, said earlier at the beginning of this piece, he's trying to keep both sides of the party happy. That cannot be done. You introduced me as a former leader of UKIP. When I took on UKIP, I was well aware that we had 6,000 members or so who really were not going to in any way make governing that party possible. Here's got the same thing on the centrist side. When you've got MPs, a group of MPs describing themselves as the liberals inside the Conservative Party, you know you've got a problem. But they are the people that you have to ignore. The Conservative Party needs to re-establish its conservative credentials, and part of that is securing our borders. Part of that is managing immigration correctly, and this bill will not do it.
Yeah, Henry, what I wanted to ask you, though, is it seems to me that even if a flight to Rwanda takes off, even if that flight is packed to the gunnels with people who tried their luck coming into this country, it's still a drop in the ocean of the number of people who have crossed the channel. And this is supposed to be some kind of silver bullet. This is supposed to be a deterrent. But the traffickers are not losing out if people come to the UK and then end up being sent on to Rwanda, so that they're not going to stop plying their trade. And it kind of depends on, Mohammed in Sudan being kind of hooked on the UK news, doesn't it? If he's going to sit there and go, oh, do you know what? I might not make that journey because I watched BBC News at 6 last night and, well, might end up in Rwanda.
Look, Alex, there's three things on that. For the Prime Minister to succeed with this, yes, it's got to succeed legally. It's got to succeed politically. Both of those things, I think there are big question marks about it. And it's, most of all, it's got to succeed operationally. And you're quite right. This will not be a deterrent. I predicted ages ago, many months ago, looking at the figures of Mediterranean crossings, which were going up. Italy has had twice the number of arrivals this year landing on its shores, having crossed the Mediterranean, than it did last year. We know, it's been a consistent dynamic, that a regular proportion of those, sometimes around about 17%, find their way to the Channel coast. Now, if the figures in Italy are increasing, there will, after a time lag, once they've got transited the European member states, they will arrive on the North French coast looking to come here.
Yeah.
That is a pipeline that is full and flowing and increasing. Those numbers...
Henry, just very, very quickly, and if you can sort of basically answer me in one sentence, what I want to know is, can we, if this doesn't work, which, I don't have high hopes, can we legally just turn the boats crossing the channel around?
Not quite, no, but do I believe that the mechanisms and the agreements to do so, including the operational techniques to do so, can be put in place? Absolutely. 100%, and I speak as somebody who's done it for 4 other countries. So there is no if or but. This is about political will and the knowledge and experience to know how to go about it.
Interesting.
Henry,
and they've got it wrong so far.
Henry, we have to move on, but thank you so much for joining us. That's Henry Bolton.